Hello friends, it is time for Frugal February. Yes, that's a little bit of alliteration for you, but we are into the second month of 2025 and it is time for us to become very frugal. As you know, inflation is creeping up, and our paychecks are not changing to really go along with the rising costs of everything. So I thought today I would make a list for you of who knows how many frugal hacks, but some things that have really helped me to pinch pennies in times of financial hardship. So, in no particular order, one thing would be for you to go through your statements and make sure you're not being duplicate charged on anything and that you're not being charged for anything that you don't think you're subscribed to. Almost every month, I mentioned this before, but almost every month when I go through my statements, I almost always find something that either was canceled, but I've got a recurred fee, or double duplicate charges or something. So make sure that you, just like when you were younger, when in the olden days when people balanced checkbooks, we actually had items and I'd go through like the duplicate copies and I'd make sure that did everything actually go through. And were there anything's going through that were not listed. So that's something that we need to do, is to always make sure you're not being charged for duplicates. Another thing is with drinking water or other beverages. Drink water. Drink a lot of water. And if you're drinking lots of bottled water, which I will admit, I do that sometimes. Okay, I buy the cheapest, great value brand, whatever. But what's even better than that is to get like a Brita filter and filter your tap water. And you can use these again. You can wash them out and use them again. You don't have to have a fancy, Stanley. You can just use a plastic bottle and filter your water and put it back into there. Just make sure that you clean it first. So not purchasing disposable plastic. It's also good for the environment, is to use a reusable. Now, it's not frugal if you spend $30 or $40 on a container. But, one thing I used to do when I was younger is I would buy a bottle of water. I would use the same bottle for the whole week, at least. So I'd rinse it out. I'd wash the mouth part off on it, rinse it really good, filter my water, and then pour it into there. So by reusing those upcycled items and then recycle it, you are saving so much money. You would have to not lose your Stanley, because I will tell you this, I'm a middle school teacher. I can't tell you how many reusable, like stainless steel thermoses and jugs I've found that are just completely abandoned. So it's only worth it if you're going to not lose it and you're going to use it with fidelity. But I would say filter your water, drink water, don't drink pop, and so water, and refill it with filtered water. Try carpooling and consolidate your trips. So if you can carpool, if you work in the same place as somebody, if you have to commute at all, if you and your spouse, or you and your child, or you and your sister or brother, if you work in the same town but you live in a different town, you both live in the same town, you could carpool together. It doesn't mean you have to coordinate your schedules. That can be kind of irritating, but you can carpool. You can also consolidate your trips and your destination. So if you know in one area of town you have a couple of different errands you need to run there, try doing them all in that same trip. Going back and forth from one day and then the next day to another one, those miles add up over time. And by consolidating your trips, carpooling, and also finding shortcuts, get to know Google Maps and see if there's a shorter way you could go. I prefer not to go on the freeways when I can help it, just because I prefer to be calm. But there are many ways that you can save on gas. Also, if you are not part of like a fuel club, like I joined Fred Meyer's, the fuel rewards, and at the end of January, I had 40 cents per gallon to save. And Fred Meyer's already was a cheaper option. Fred Meyer's and Costco seem to have the cheapest gas per gallon. And then when I tacked on the fuel rewards points, that helped me a lot. So I don't like to buy my groceries from Fred Meyer's, but if I have a lot of errands to run, and let's say I have to go get a gift for somebody, and maybe I need to get flowers for somebody, and I have to get some groceries, if I considered how much time and money it would cost to go all those different places, sometimes consolidating a trip into one stop, one shop, even if the items are just a little bit more, sometimes it's worth it. You have to kind of do your pros and cons. And I had enough reward points to save 40 points per gallon. And the last time I filled up the tank, it was just about $40. So that was not too bad for me. I've had worse. Shop at discount grocery stores like Winco. I wouldn't even say they're discount, but they're Frugal. Winco is one of the best. That's where I usually go to do my grocery shopping. Sometimes I'll go to US Chefs, which used to be Cash and Carry. US Chefs is also very great. It's a great place to buy your onions and your potatoes, your bulk vegetables. That's the cheapest place to go for that. But not all of their items are cheaper. Sometimes going to Costco can be cheaper. The rotisserie chickens that they have at Costco are super cheap. If you need to, or you're just like, you really want to go out, you don't have very much money, you only have a couple bucks, you can go to the food area of Costco, and for like less than $2, you can get a hot dog and a soda. You can get a whole pizza for like about $10. So that could be someone's birthday party right there. You buy a pizza or two. That is so cheap. You're not going to really find a better deal than that for that kind of stuff. Now, is it the most healthy? Probably not, but I'm talking about like for convenience. Eat at home and prepare your meals. Even if it's something that you get in the freezer section that all you have to do is warm up, that's going to be cheaper. So much cheaper than eating out, obviously. And convenient meals, if you think about, you have to change your mind frame, and so do I. How long it takes, you're going to go to a drive-thru, you're going to go to a restaurant, you're going to put in your order, you're going to sit in line, you're going to wait to pay the money, get home, food's cold, right? And it costs a fortune now. Or you have a couple easy microwavable meals, either you prepared it in advance, or even if you purchased it prepared already, and you pop it in the microwave, or you pop it in the air fryer, or you pop it in the stove. And if you really think about it, it didn't take you as long. It's definitely cheaper. And if you consider the gas that you would have wasted while you're waiting in line at a drive-thru, or how much money you paid for that, consider how much time you had to waste to make that money. You definitely are saving time, energy, and money by preparing your own food, even if it's kind of like somewhat not from scratch. Even if it's not from scratch. If it's from scratch, you're going to save it even more, as long as you're not splurging for those extra special like spices and stuff. If you have a meal that has like 27 ingredients, you're not going to save money. The simpler and shorter the meal, like the list of ingredients, the cheaper it's going to be. Do we really need 3 different streaming services like Amazon Prime, Hulu, Netflix? Probably not. I've actually found that a lot of the things I have on Amazon Prime are also offered on Hulu and Netflix. And some of them have season 2 or season 3, and some only have season 1. So it would be worth the time, I think, anyway, to go through, make a list of what are all the shows you really, really like, and which of your services have them, and is it worth that much money per month to pay for it? Because you could also have like Hulu for a month. You can have a certain service for like a month or 2, watch all the things you liked from that one, cancel it, and then subscribe to a different one. So that's something you can do. You don't have to have all of them at the same time. You might end up with a higher amount sometimes, I don't know, but it's definitely going to be cheaper than having 2 or 3. Do not charge it. Do not get more credit cards. Do not put it on a charge card. Even if it's 50% off, you're going to end up paying more for something on sale if you end up swiping a credit card. If you can't afford it this month, don't buy it this month. We can save up and buy something in cash. Stop charging. Don't take out loans. Don't take out debt. If we can't live in our means, we are going to be indentured servants. So you have to resist the temptation to buy stuff that you don't have the money for. Look through the stuff that you have and find a use for it. I'm sure you have some things that you can do or use, and we've got stuff. We know we've got stuff. Use the stuff you've got. If your refrigerator's not empty and your cupboards aren't bare, you have something. It's not what's for dinner tonight. It's, is there dinner tonight? Look through what you have. It's not about cravings anymore. It's not about that. It's not about what do you want to have to eat. It's look at what you have and make something with what you have. And when you go to the grocery store, make a list and do the best you can to stick to it. The only way I would deviate from the list would be if you find something that's a better deal. For instance, if you have chicken on your list or beef on your list and you see a really good deal on the opposite, then get that instead. If you go to get eggs and it's $12 for a dozen, don't get eggs. Get something else. And then when the price is right, then get it. Also, when it comes to supply and demand, it goes both ways. If there's not very much, they're going to charge more. But if they charge more and you don't buy it, they're going to charge less. So, or somebody else will buy it. But it doesn't have to be you wasting your money. So be careful. Looking at like the cereal should be pretty much off of our list now because one, look at the ingredients. Google the ingredients and almost all of it's just toxic junk, especially in the United States. Our cereals are horrible. They're expensive. Some are $7 a box or $8 a box. It's crazy. Like, I can't even. Milk's not too bad, but cereal is ridiculously priced and it's horrible for us. So look at the ingredients. Most of it's not natural at all. And it's better to switch it off for something like oatmeal, or you can have fruits and vegetables. And I mean, I still got stuck in my head that fruits and vegetables are expensive, but healthcare is expensive. And if you are getting sick, if you have deficiencies, the care that it costs to get rid of those problems or to diagnose you and test you to see what's wrong with you, that's expensive. Eating that's poison is very, very expensive. Not getting enough rest, not getting enough exercise, not getting enough social time. It's important to balance with your mental health because mental health is expensive. How it affects your physical health is expensive. So remember to take care of yourself. It's not too expensive to take care of yourself. You don't have to get a $100 manicure or pedicure. You can give yourself a little foot bath with some Epsom salts. You can take a nice magnesium salt bath. You can take a shower. You can drink a glass of water, go for a walk, eat an orange or an apple. Like, come on, give somebody a hug. Like, call somebody and talk to them. It's not that expensive to talk on the phone anymore. When I was young, it cost 25 cents a minute for me to call somebody local long distance and 10 cents a minute to call somebody across the country. And it was very lonely. We moved a lot being a military brat. And that lack of social interaction was not good for my mental health. That's expensive. But if you have an all unlimited plan, call your friends and family, tell them that you're thinking about them, check in on them, spend time with them. You might need to stop going to the movies. The theaters are probably going to end up shutting down because they cost way too much. I mean, literally, brought my family to the movies, and it wasn't, my husband didn't even go, it was just me and my kids. It ended up being like, I think it was like $150. I'm like, it was ridiculous. For the tickets, just the tickets cost $100, and then the popcorn and soda cost $50. And I told the kids afterwards, I said, you know what? We're not coming back to the movies unless it's someone's birthday. Like, we can't. We used to go to a movie like once a month many years ago. And it was our outing. It was like our fun outing to, like really enjoy our luxury. And it was nowhere near what it is now. Even when you take into consideration the cost of living, it was so much cheaper back then. We could afford it before, when I was in my 20s and 30s, we could afford it. I'm in my 40s now. We can't afford to go to the movies. It's so much cheaper even if you have to buy it, even buying it is cheaper. You can buy it for like a movie for like $19, $19.99 or $29.99. That's if it's like a really, really new. But your whole family can sit there and have microwave popcorn or sunflower seeds or nothing and just sit there and talk. You can pause it, go to the bathroom. You don't have to miss the movie. So movies are out. Sorry, movies are out. Go to the library and read a book. I actually don't like to check out books because I'm so disorganized and forgetful about deadlines, and our library actually charges you if you're late. So I actually go to the shelf where they have books for sale, and they're usually like 50 cents for a paperback or $1 unless it's marked for a hardback book. And I'll just buy the book, and then when I don't want it anymore, I'll either donate it to say like Salvation Army, Goodwill, whatever. Or if I donate to Value Village, then you get the 20% coupon for the next time you go shopping there. So it's cheaper for me to buy a book for 50 cents or $1 at the library than it is for me to pay the late fees or replace the book if I lose it. So read a book, super cheap, way cheaper than watching a movie, and you get to enjoy it for longer. Avoid sales tax. Avoid sales tax by borrowing, trading, buying things at yard sales, upcycling, go on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, be careful. But by buying things used, not at an actual store, but by buying things used at like yard sales, estate sales can be more spendy. That's the trend for me that I've noticed. But if you buy from yard sales and off of Craigslist, Marketplace, that kind of stuff, you don't pay sales tax. So that's about 10% savings right there. And then the items usually are already cheap compared to what they would have been somewhere else too. So you're also saving sales tax if you think of it that way. Shop around for a better car insurance policy. Sometimes bundling is not better. I found that out the hard way. I changed car insurance companies, but then they required that you bundled your house insurance. So it was going to be cheaper by switching to that company. But then, so I did the whole switching process. And then they're like, oh, well, you have to have your house on there or you don't get the deal. But their house insurance was more expensive. So shop around, make sure you ask those questions. Like if they say, oh, it's this better deal, whatever, say like, is it a requirement that I move my homeowner's policy to you, or is this really the deal? Like, please be honest with me. But you can get a much better deal, and that's something that's going to be month to month. It's not going to just be a one-time savings. It's a savings every single month for a very long time. Fix things that are broken. So that includes like mending clothing and stuff like that. So I had a sweater that went through the wash, and it got a little pills, you know what I mean? Like the fabric got pilled up. And I love that sweater. And that sweater, if I was to buy it new, I don't even remember where I got it. I probably got it secondhand or it was a gift. I love it. It's super comfortable. So soft. But I'm going to spend the time picking off those little pills, the little pilled up fabric, because I don't want to have to buy it again. And I love it. It fits. It's comfy. And it's nice enough to wear to work. It's nice. It's also casual enough to wear at home. So I'm going to go ahead and spend the time doing that. I also found a shirt that had like a little tear in the back, and it's along a seam that would be easy to sew it up. I don't have a sewing machine, but I've got thread and I've got needle and thread. So I'm going to sew that up and fix it. So I'm saving probably right there $50. If I was buying something new. I never spend that kind of money. I'm always very frugal. I can't even imagine going to a department store like Bon Marché or Nordstrom, something like that, because I buy my clothes. Sometimes it's cheaper to buy them new at like Ross than it would be to buy them used. If you're buying clothes used, you have to wash them, but look at the tags, because at Value Village, they'll have sales on certain tags. And if you're careful, if you only like blind yourself to every other color than the tag that's for sale, go on the day they have the really cheap deals, and then blind yourself to every color except for the sales tag. It's really hard, because sometimes you'll see something super cute, but it's going to be like $12.99, $14.99, $19.99, $27.99. Some of the prices at Value Village and Goodwill are more expensive than they would be brand new at Ross. So blind yourself to every color except for the sales tag. When was the last time you went on a picnic? I remember as a kid, we went camping and picnicking a lot. So my stepdad actually, he did have a camper, but we also had a tent, and we would go camping all the time. And in the summertime, that was our thing. We didn't stay in hotels unless we were going across the entire country and we had to. But during summertime, our getaways were staying at campgrounds, and it was so much fun. Spending more money doesn't mean having a better life. It doesn't mean having more fun or enjoying any experience better. I probably had more fun camping than a lot of people had staying at a 5-star hotel. Like exploring, discovering, building your own campfire, setting up your own tent, going fishing, going kayaking. I mean, whatever, just hiking, taking pictures of birds. Like, it was so much fun. We loved it. We loved going to Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens and going to Ocean Shores and Long Beach. Those were just really wonderful memories, and they were very, very frugal. My favorite time was looking for sand dollars and seashells. So that didn't cost anything. I didn't have to spend $20 at a gift shop for something. My keepsakes was actually like a seashell or a rock, or I'd have like a little container and I'd fill it with sand. Those were my mementos and my keepsakes, and I still have some of those things. They're still very special. And some of the things that people bought, mementos or like whatever, those things might not still be around. They might be broken, whatever. It's a waste of money. A lot of that stuff is cheap plastic, keychains, things like that. You don't need it. A postcard, honestly, I remember buying postcards. Such a beautiful picture. It would cost more to develop a picture than it would be to buy the postcard. And some of those postcards I kept as my keepsake, and didn't buy posters, didn't buy t-shirts, didn't buy something for every time I went somewhere. So reframe your mind of what is fun. And if you go on a vacation, you don't have to buy a bunch of junk. You don't have to come back with a bunch of stuff. Come back with experience. School supplies don't have to be brand new every year. Now, I don't want your kids to feel like less than if everybody else around them has brand new this or that. But there's no reason why you're buying a new binder if the one from last year is functional. Maybe all you need is new tabs for the binder. You don't need to buy new pencils. You just need to sharpen them. You don't need a new calculator as long as it's working. A lot of the things, even you might not even need a new backpack. So a lot of things for back to school, which, it's a way off, but you don't have to have brand new school supplies. I buy school supplies for my students all the time because they can't find their stuff. They lose it constantly. It's like they drop it everywhere. Might as well have been a reused thing because they don't take very good care of their stuff. Spending a lot of money does not mean that they're going to do better at school. It would be better for you to sit by your kid and ask them questions. How was their day at school? Help them with their homework. Have them show you Google Classroom. What do they do? It would be better for you to have them read to you and you to read to them than for you to spend $200 on back to school supplies. Going back to school does not mean you need to spend hundreds of dollars on a whole new wardrobe for your kid. Basically, you need to have this conversation. Do they need a new pair of shoes? Do they need pants that fit them? buying those things that are needed, not just on, sugar on top. Like, have a conversation that we don't need to have 50 pairs of shoes. We don't need to have 40 different t-shirts. We're going to buy the things that you need and really be thoughtful about, not every outfit you have needs to be brand new. And I know some families will think that makes their kids look like they don't have what they need to have, but are they wearing clean clothes? Do they have clothes that fit them? That's pretty good. How can I forget to talk about gardens? Gardening can be a way to be frugal. It can also be a lot of money if you're not careful. But one frugal tip for February is to start your own seeds instead of buying starts at the garden center. This week, I'm starting peppers from seed. I already have my seed grow mat, and I use the same one every year. And I repurpose containers for my seedlings. I'm using K-cups, and I'm planting expired seeds that have expired from 2020, around that year. And so they're not going to waste. I'm planting those peppers and I'm starting a few tomatoes this week. So this week is mostly peppers. And over the next February is my pepper month. I will be planting some tomatoes as well, especially the ones that need to get like nice and big fruits. So start some seeds. Try not to buy so many starts from the garden centers unless they're a great deal. And if you're starting from seed, even if you got a plant for $1, that's still going to be a lot more than starting your own seeds, which might be a penny or 5 cents. So grow your own starts. That means if you want to grow peppers and tomatoes, start them soon. Peppers, I'm starting for February. And then later in the month, in the beginning of March, I'll be planting tomatoes. Now we can move on. I want to make sure we at least included having a garden. And I like to compost in place and not spend money on like fertilizer. So I do chop and drop and compost in place. And I plant my fertilizer by planting peas and other legumes around my plants so that I don't have to buy nitrogen. So there are so many frugal hacks you can do in the garden. Hit like and subscribe, comment below, and I will share lots more gardening tips with you. I have friends and family who say, I bet you save so much money on your garden. I'm like, actually, I could. I don't, but I could. My garden is like my hobby gone crazy. Like, it's my life. I spend so much time in the garden. It's my entertainment. It's my food. It's my medicine. It's my exercise. It's my gym. It's my social life. Like, the garden is pretty much like, I live for it. So, no, I don't save money by having a garden, but you can save money by having a garden. So if you let your seeds go to waste, you're wasting money and wasting life. So plant your old seeds first. I'm getting those planted, and I'm planting, like I said, the peppers this month. If you don't have a lot of seeds, and if you like gardening or you want to get into gardening, if you have a friend or family member who is into it as well, you can let them know that you would take their expired seeds. And if they're willing, or if they have something that they grew and didn't care for so much, take that off their hands. You'd be surprised. A lot of gardeners have a lot of excess stuff, and they're actually worried about letting those seeds die. So if they have somebody, especially if you show an interest in something that interests them, a lot of people will give some things away for free, especially if you're willing to take less desirable, like if somebody has a favorite squash and they've got a bunch of other squash they tried before, and you're like, just give me anything, any squash, any peppers, any tomatoes. If you're not picky, then people will be happy to be generous with you. So that's another way to be frugal. I've even heard people, I think Homestead Tessie said she put something in the newspaper asking for free seeds once. And apparently in her area, they allow you to put in one free like order or one free announcement per year or something. But you could put it on FreeCycle, Nextdoor.com, Facebook Marketplace, like a buy nothing group, or on Craigslist for the free category. And you could say, hey, I really want to start gardening. I want to do it on a budget. If you have gardening stuff that you don't want anymore, even expired seeds, I'd be happy to take it. And then you take it, and you will have a garden, and you might be able to do it without spending a single dime. I like to make my own or mix my own detergent for laundry. I don't like to waste money on detergents because, one, I end up having to rinse it a second time because the detergent is so strong and it hurts our skin. So I have been buying like Free and Clear for many years, or like hypoallergenic, and it costs basically the same as other types. And so, I just started buying like Zote soap and a little bit of OxyClean, and I just use like fragrance-free, very mild stuff. If I want to add a few drops of lavender or something, I'll do that. And I mix it up with warm water, and I use that, and it works perfectly well. It works just as well as the Free and Clear types, like all Free and Clear and stuff like that. And I'm basically saving, like, if it's like $15 a gallon, I'm saving $14 a gallon. So it's worth it to me to do that, but it's not just for the savings, it's also for not having irritated skin. So one of the things too is about being frugal. It's not just about being frugal. All of the things I've mentioned here, they save time. They are helping relationships, helping mental wellness, helping the environment, like quality time over quantity of money. Like, all of the things I've mentioned here are not just going to help our pocketbooks and our bank accounts, but they're actually going to help us have happier, healthier, more balanced, fulfilling, satisfying lives. All right, everybody. Be good, be sweet. Grow a garden if you want to eat, and I'll see you next time.